Hi, I'm Rebecca from Angel Foods, and I'm a sales and marketing trainer for sweet businesses. I help business owners and entrepreneurs grow their cake business. I do that in a variety of ways, including a weekly live video trainings to help solve business problems. So this one isn't live, this one I'm recording because last night it got very glitchy with the internet. But I was talking about Google Analytics, and in particular showing you behind the scenes of my Google Analytics being my website traffic, and how I read the Google Analytics and what in particular I look at. And there's actually only 4 sections in Google Analytics that I look at, so I wanted to save you time so you don't have to figure out what's important and what's not, I should say, in talking about Google Analytics and Google Analytic reports and your website traffic. So why do Google Analytics or have Google Analytics? It's essentially a tracking code that is added to the back end of your website, which Google automatically then tracks your traffic, where it's coming from, how long they're staying for, etc. And having my own website with Google Analytics tracking code is part of my online marketing strategy. So marketing being me sharing with the world how I help people, my online marketing strategy being obviously in the internet Google world, how more people can find me so that I can help them. So Google Analytics and my website are part of my online marketing strategy, which equals more website traffic, which equals more inquiries, which equals more orders, which equals more sales. Okay, it's money in the bank. That's why I do this, and that's why it's important for your business. All right, so what Google Analytics can show you or tell you: it will give you your traffic numbers. It will tell you how many users are coming to your website per day, per week, per month, per year, where they're coming from. Is it, from Google, from a referral, from social media, which social media platform, how long they're staying for, what are they looking at, what pages and posts on your website. My dog's going nuts outside, but that's okay. And it's part of my philosophy in business, being what isn't measured can't be improved. So if you are aiming on improving website traffic and getting more orders from your website, you need to measure that traffic and aim to grow it. And that's by setting really smart, specific goals. So what isn't measured can't be improved. If you currently get 100 website hits per month and you want to increase that to 300 website hits per month, Google Analytics will give you the answer. Okay. So a little bit of backstory is that I started with a Weebly website, so angelfoods.weebly.net, and it was quite a fine website for me to start with, being that I had it for 12 months. I put it on my business cards. I went out and did markets and expos and festivals. I was on Facebook. I had the website, like I said, and I marketed my little buns off, and I got very busy very quickly. It was 12 months later that I upgraded to a WordPress website, but in the meantime I had got fully booked out, and I'd also actually franchised the home cake business model, so I had franchisees as well. So upgrading to a WordPress website, I actually did it wrong, I suppose. I didn't have an SEO strategy, so I was getting about maybe 50 website hits per day, until currently now I am getting, I think my low average is minimum is less than 1,000 website hits per day. So that is when I upgraded WordPress in 2014. But bear in mind, when I started my first Weebly website, I had 1 to 2 hits per day. Some days no hits. Okay, so that's perfectly normal, and that is where I started. That was 2010, 2011. Second website 2012 with maybe 150 to 100 hits per day, and now with my third website 2016, 1,000 page views, website hits per day. Okay, so it does build over time, and I do that through my SEO strategy, which I'll share with you later. All right, so how to set Google Analytics up. I actually do have a link for you on how to do that. So how to set up Google Analytics on a WordPress, Wix, or Weebly website. So I'll share the link below of this video. To install the Google Analytics tracking code on your website, essentially you log in to analytics.google.com, analytics.google.com, and You can have more than one website. You can see multiple websites here. Angel Foods, Cupcake Business in a Box, my other website, which is currently down, but it will spit out a UA code. You can see that UA code here that you copy paste into a specific spot in the back end of your website. It depends on your type of website, but I've got instructions, like I said, on how to add Google Analytics to your website, whether it's WordPress, Weebly, or Wix, and I'll pop the link below on how to do that. So firstly, you need to have it installed. You need to give it 24 hours for it to start collecting data, and then you'd need a good probably month of data to be able to analyze it, really, to look at it and get the information. All right, so there's, like I said, 4 main spots that or parts that I look at, and that's, for the most part, over 90%, that's all I do here in Google Analytics. So firstly is audience and overview, and this is the dashboard, or main dashboard. So you can see the big graph that you hover over each dot. It automatically shows me the previous 30 days or previous month. So for example, if I hover over this dot, Wednesday, May the 4th, I had 582 sessions. So you can go along and see all of the sessions. I can change this drop down to be viewing it via page views or users or any other sections, I suppose, here, but how to know what that is, I just wanted to show you can change that. I'll show you this up the top too while I'm thinking of it. Up the top here, you can change the date range that you're looking at. So you can change for it to be for a week, for a 7-day period. You can change it to be a daily. So for daily, I'd click on 23rd again, hit apply, and it'll bring up my daily data, and it actually gives you the number of page views by the hour. So that one's 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m. So that's very, very cool stuff. So yeah, like I said, you can look at it via the week, day, month, year, whatever time period that you're looking at. All right, so let's go back to looking at this via the last, there we are, last 30 days. All right, or something like this. All right. So underneath the graph, these are the main sections that I look at, and I look at my Google Analytics almost daily nowadays because I have had some viral traffic happen. I just like to stay on top of it, see if there's something wrong with my website, being if people are coming, or if something's really off with my numbers. But usually I looked at it weekly. Before that, I looked at it monthly or not at all, and that was a big, big mistake. But what I'm looking at is, so we're in audience and overview, number of sessions. So number of sessions being the number, I've forgotten how here, if you hover over it, it says the total number of sessions within the date range. A session is the period of time a user is actively engaged in your website. Users are the number of people. So they're sometimes called unique users as well. And that could be both new and returning users, and number of page views being obviously the total number of pages people have viewed on your website within that date range, so within the last month. So I commonly look at just one of these in particular, being that from day to week to month to year, that's what I'm gauging to be my growth. Essentially, my page views has increased from this number to this number. So I did share the last couple of weeks that my number of page views has quadrupled in the last probably six to 8 weeks now. I was getting 15,000 page views, and I'm getting over 60,000 page views now. So that's how I track that, and the number of unique users. You can track by any one of those 3 numbers, like I said. All right, number of pages per session. So being one person on my website, what's the average number of pages or posts that they're looking at? And they're looking at 3.3. So that is really, really quite good. That's increased a little bit for myself. For example, if somebody's only looking at 0.9 pages per session, that means barely anyone is clicking through to a second page. So you would want to increase that as part of your SEO strategy, just to be aware of. Then you've got your average session duration, how long people are staying on your page for. So I've got 2 minutes 19. That's quite good. It used to be about 1 minute 30, so that I've obviously increased that. And again, that was part of my SEO strategy. Then you've got your bounce rate here. Now a bounce, for anyone who doesn't know, is when somebody hits your website, and navigates immediately away from your website without clicking through to anywhere else. So they hit the cross button or cancel button or back button. So bounce rate is somebody hits your website and bounces straight back off, essentially. So when I had a session with an SEO expert, she told me the average bounce rate was about 70%, 70. And that anything over than that was a little bit high. Anything under that was really rather quite good. In my last probably 2 months, when I quadrupled my website traffic, at the same time my bounce rate decreased significantly. And again, that was something I was working on as part of my SEO strategy. This is ridiculously low. Let me say that right now. I don't even know if it's real. I don't know how it's not real, but I need to check with some other SEO experts if they've heard of this before, because essentially it's unheard of that a bounce rate is this low. But if you aim about 70, 75%, if it's less than that, high five, that's really, really good. If it's a little bit higher than that, then you want to have a bit of a strategy, SEO strategy, to decrease your bounce rate. And why that's an SEO strategy is that the smaller the bounce rate, Google sees or thinks that, not that Google thinks, Google's analytics, Google bots, it sees people stay on your site for longer, and therefore they assume that you are giving away better quality content and people are staying around for longer and looking at things. The higher the bounce rate, Google thinks it might be more of a spammy or not high value website. So therefore, higher bounce rate, Google is less likely to give you Google, Google ranking, being a Google spot 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 for your keywords. If you have a lower bounce rate, Google says, oh, okay, this must be a site of authority. They must be giving out good content, high quality content. We're going to give them better Google ranking. So therefore, I get more traffic to my website from Google with a lower bounce rate. So that was, again, part of how I quadrupled my traffic in a month. That was very much part of my strategy, and it worked. All right, and then lastly, we've got percentage of new sessions. So it also shows it in this graph over here. So you've got returning new users, this blue section, which is 68%, 70%. It's usually about 3/4, 75%, and returning visitors being 31% for the last 30 days for me. So my returning visitors is actually my email subscribers. So I collect email addresses from my website. I send out email newsletters. I share, the latest blog posts, for example, and invite them over to the website to read the blog post or get the video, or not video, get the tutorial or get the recipe or whatever the latest thing is I'm sharing on my website. Again, that's part of my SEO strategy, being if you get Google registers that you have returning visitors, therefore you must be providing good quality information, high quality content, and therefore gives you better Google ranking. Quick tip. You scroll down a little bit here, you can choose what country people are coming from, so that's really cool. So I've got United States for 39%, Australia's 33%, United Kingdom, etc. You can see what cities people are coming in from, just because that's fun to know as well. But that is the audience overview. All right, secondly, I look at the acquisition. So acquisition is being, where are they coming from? How are they finding my site? So I click acquisition overview. It gives a chart up here, but I like to look at it down here in this graph, I suppose it is. So firstly, I've got, there's always 4 sections: social media, direct, organic search, and referral. Social is social media, being social media channels. Direct is from yourself, so being my email subscribers. I give them a direct link and they directly click through, so they didn't Google me, they didn't find me on social media, it was a direct link. Then I've got organic search, that is ultimately Google, and then a referral. So for example, if somebody else has written a review about myself or my products or my services, and it links through to my website, then that's a referral. So ultimately, social media is my main, the top source of traffic to my website. I click on it and it gives me my list of social media channels that are bringing traffic to my website. So I've got Pinterest, which is my number 1 at about 5,000 sessions for the month. Facebook was second, 3,000 this last month. LinkedIn was 43, and then just 1 and 1 for Google Plus and Twitter. All right. So I can read along the graph and get more information. It's got percentage of new sessions. So let's say 87% from Pinterest are new sessions, which is 4,000, nearly 300 new users. My bounce rate from Pinterest is 1.2%, so ridiculously low again. If I again saw that was really high, I would try and do something about it. Pages per session, so people from Pinterest are looking at average of 3 pages per session and staying for an average of 1 minute and 7 seconds. So Facebook, I can read the same data. Very, very cool stuff. This stuff over the right-hand side, the conversions and email sign-up goal conversion rate, that's more of an intermediate to advanced Google Analytics strategy, essentially, and that's not something I'm going to teach right now. All right, so for example, if I click on Pinterest, it will then show me the graph being my Pinterest traffic to my website over the last 30 days. So you can see that something went viral on the Wednesday and Thursday, May 18th and 19th, which was really, really cool. And then my average number of sessions per day is about 100 sessions per day from Pinterest. So again, I can click back and click on Facebook and get the same type of data. So Facebook, I don't even remember. Oh yeah, it averages about 40, 60 sessions per day. And you can see that traffic really increased around this time. So for example, that day when I came on, this is May 31st, I had a peak, a really big high of 551 sessions from Facebook. So I can get, okay, what did I do differently today? What was happening on Facebook? Was something going viral? Did I share some information? Did I do some live video training? And I did actually do live video training that day. I did live Q&A time, and I collected all the links together of articles that I was suggesting and recommending, and I shared them all over the place, and that commonly brings in a lot of traffic to my website when I do that. So live video training is part of, obviously, my marketing strategy, but I can see peaks in my traffic when I do it well. So Google Analytics tells me this. All right, so that was social media channels, is how I was just looking at. And then secondly, we've got direct. So we've got number of sessions, behavior being bounce rate. So we can click on direct, and it tells you what direct traffic was coming to what page. So it says how much to charge for cupcakes, how to make a mirror glazed shiny cake recipe and tutorial, red velvet. So in the last month, that was number 1, that was number 2, that was number 3. Number 4 was cake business school. So a lot of people have been checking out that page. That's awesome. 3 ways to sell cakes using Facebook. They've got a recipe, brown sugar chocolate mud cake, a cupcake recipe. That line there is the home page. So that's how many sessions, how many people checked out the home page. How to price cakes, starting a cake business cheaply, 12 drip design cakes. So you can change it so you've got more than 10 as well. So you can, down the bottom here, show the number of rows. So you can click 25, for example, or 50 or 100. You can see as many as you want. All right. So the direct most popular posts and pages. And then thirdly, organic search is on my list. So Google is actually number 3 on my list. But at other times it's been number 1. Just depends on the month and what I've been doing. So now for Google, for the most part, it does not tell you what words people are putting into Google to find you. And that's because the privacy policy changed about September, October last year. So when a lot of people put privacy settings on their Google account, essentially, so you can't get that traffic anymore. So over 4,400 sessions, I have no idea, it's not provided what they were typing into Google. But you can see here on number 3, there was about 14 sessions where people were typing in cake business school, business with 2 S's apparently, so misspelling it. So that's actually interesting to know, so that I know to misspell it in my keywords so that more people can find me. People would start typing in TAFE cake and decorating courses Queensland and finding me. So that's pretty cool. Cherry ripe recipe, that one's always been popular. That's been popular for years from Google. So there's some really interesting information. While these numbers are really small, you can still do, for example, a blog post about those keywords, about what people are typing into Google. So I'm getting loads of information here. And lastly, referral. So referral is when somebody else is linking to your website. Bear in mind, most of these lists, most of these website addresses in the referral list are junk. They don't mean anything. They're just spammy, junky, and you can't do much about it. You kind of just got to sift through it and find what's important and what's not. So, for example, rankchecker.online, that's just a spammy website. They're just dropping links all over the place to try and get more backlinks to their own website. So I ignore that. And then I've got rosebakes.com. That's a real one, because Rose did a review on Cake Business School recently, so I can see that I got 226 sessions from her review and from her website directly. And the rest of these are all spammy links, so I don't worry about them. So just so you know that as well, don't overly worry about or concern about those. All right, so now we're up to the third section. So we did audience overview, we did acquisition overview. So audience being the traffic, acquisition, where are they coming from? And now we're going to look at behavior overview, and that is, what are they looking at? So over the last month, you can look at it via page, so it has the URL. You can look at it via page title, which is a little bit neater, up to you how you prefer to look at it. My number one most popular page with over 10,000 page views is how much to charge for cupcakes. So this is the blog post that I have. I wrote in 2014 when I had my new website. Ugh, my coffee's cold now. Ugh, yuck, it's nothing worse. And it's been getting quite viral, to be honest, more and more popular. So that means Google is loving it, people are loving it, so therefore it increases in traffic just about daily, to be honest. So here I can see my most popular pages and blog posts and be aware of it really, and how can I maximize from that. So number 2 is how to make mirror glaze shiny cakes, the recipe and tutorial. Now that one's actually a brand new blog post in the last 2 weeks, maybe 3, I think 2 weeks ago. And that's because obviously that was a cake that got quite popular, it became back into fashion. It actually used to be fashionable years ago, and got really popular in the cake decorating world. So I put together some recipes and tutorials and got nearly 6,000 page views on that. So it doesn't have to necessarily be an old blog post. It becomes something that's really popular and hot right now, as long as Google sees that you're a site of authority, being low bounce rate and what else was there? Average time on page and things like that. Google knows that you've got good stuff, so it's more likely to send more traffic and you're more likely to get good Google ranking on something that's new, okay? Thirdly, how to price cakes, how to grow a cake business, enroll in Cake Business School. So again, people are looking at Cake Business School to buy. That's brilliant, getting really good traffic. Where to order cake boxes and packaging, 12 drip design cakes. Now that drip designs, that's relatively new, about probably 6 weeks old, that blog post. So it's had 1,500 page views just this month, not since it's been on my website, just in this last month. Selling, because drip design cakes are quite popular right now as well. Selling cakes at the markets, the thank you page. Now thank you page is after somebody signs up with something free on my website, so free business toolkit or free mini ebook or free mini e-course, for example. After they sign up, they get sent to a thank you page. So I've had over 1,400 people in the last month go to my thank you page, so that's pretty cool. A red velvet cake recipe, and not only that, you don't have to just see the top 10, you can view the full report by clicking here, and you can look as many as you want. Okay, you can choose 25, 50, 5,000, right? Your top 5,000 pages, but nobody has that many. I have quite a lot of blog posts, over a couple of hundred, probably 300 to be honest. But it'll also include the pages on your website. So, you know, your about page, your gallery, your boys' cakes, it'll include all those, and you'll be able to see what more people are looking at. If, for example, if you had 10 times the amount of traffic looking at your wedding page, this is what Google Analytics will tell you. All right, so that's 3 sections that I mainly look at. Did I finish with behavior? Yes, I had. All right, great. All right, last 4 section that I check out, and ultimately this one's just the fun one, is real time. So click on real time and overview. And this shows you how many people are on your site right now. How cool is that? So right now, I've got 8 people on my site, 60% are on a mobile, 22% are on a tablet, and 11% on desktop. And they are looking at how to make a mirror glaze cake with recipe and tutorial, how to price cakes, the lemon cupcake recipe, oh, that person just left, selling cakes at the markets, vanilla cake recipe for a cake business. And 5 are coming from Pinterest, and 2, it says keyword unknown, so that means Google, come from Google. All right, and I can see it's actually 5 people on the how to make a mirror glaze shiny cake recipe tutorial. Because there's 5 there and 5 on Pinterest, I'm guessing they're all coming from Pinterest. So I'm going to go out on the limb and say I think somebody is sharing. Yep, 6 on that one now from Pinterest. Somebody is sharing that literally on Pinterest right now, and it's going a little bit nuts. That's kind of cool. See, I'm watching that in real time. I wouldn't have known that without being on here right now and recording this. And it shows a little map of where people are logging in from, or not logging in from, but looking at my website from. So that's kind of cool to look at as well. So for example, when I look at this real-time number, usually it's after I send out an email newsletter, because that's when my website traffic peaks, because obviously I'm directing everyone to come to my website. All right, now I wanted to share with you, over the weekend, I actually had something go viral on my website. I had logged into ConvertKit. ConvertKit is my email service provider where I send out my email newsletters from. And I had massive spikes of new email subscribers, over 200 per day for a couple of days, last Friday and Saturday. And I'm like, what is going on there? So I logged into my Google Analytics. I brought up Friday to Sunday. Actually, let me show you the whole month so you can see that how different it looks. I logged into my Google Analytics and it looked like this. See, there's a massive hill at the end here. There was a huge amount of traffic coming to my website on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I changed my date range to Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I can see that, I'll change it to page views. That's how I normally look at it. Friday was over 5,800 page views. Saturday, 7,600. Sunday, 4,500. And I'm like, oh my goodness. Number of page views in that 72 hour period was 18,000 page views. Now in January this year, my number of page views for the month was 16,000. So in 72 hours, I'd more than I had in a whole month at the beginning of this year. And I was staying for 2.74 pages. It was really low bounce rate. It was all really good stuff. I'm like, all right, where do these people come from and what are they looking at? So I went to acquisition overview. Ding, 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 social media. They were all virtually coming from social media, because bear in mind, I always have a little bit of traffic come from every single one of these over a couple of days. But the main source of traffic was coming from social media, over 5,000 sessions. So I clicked on social media, and Pinterest is the winner with over 5,000 sessions in that 72-hour period. So that was very, very cool. All right, and these were all relatively new people. 94% were new that never been to my website before. So my next thought process was, okay, what are they looking at? What is being shared? What has gone on viral on Pinterest that people are loving and clicking through to my website? So I click behavior, overview, and it tells me the page. And with over 12,000 page views, nearly 13,000 page views, how much to charge for cupcakes. So that pin over at Pinterest had gone nutcrackers, and I had a lot of traffic coming to my website, and I was getting more emails, more email addresses, more email subscribers because of it. So that was free traffic, and that was very much something we've been working on. I implemented a new Pinterest strategy about probably 2 months ago, which I get my VA to do, my virtual assistant. Probably about 2-3 months ago, my Pinterest traffic was about 1,000 sessions per month. A month later, it's about 2,000 sessions. 3 months later, 5,000 sessions. And this month went with that viral content, over 12,000, nearly 13,000 page views or sessions have come from Pinterest. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say my Pinterest strategy is working. Even with this viral content, it was still growing anyway. But that was just so cool that I could just log in and see exactly where people were coming from and how long they're staying on my page and what they were looking at and, you know, what was happening on my website, really. All right, so I've talked a lot about my Pinterest strategy here and also my SEO strategy, being search engine optimization and how to get better Google ranking and how to get more traffic to your website. And this week in Cake Business School, I am uploading or creating a new training module on my SEO strategy. Next month, the new training module will be my Pinterest strategy. I'll be sharing exactly what I'm doing in my business and how I'm getting these results. Now, I'm recording this. How should I say this? Oh, I'm recording this for also replay purposes because I tried doing a live webinar last night and the internet went down and it essentially broke a little bit. I was doing a live stream, but I couldn't share, you know, my page with people. But I wanted to offer a bonus to new people who are thinking about enrolling in Cake Business School. It is a free review of your website to improve your traffic. So I will review your website to help you get more people to your website, get more traffic to your website, get more inquiries, get more orders, more moolah in the bank, right? So I can review Google Analytics if you have it. If you don't, I can still review your website. If you don't have a website, I can still review your business and help you get more orders, more inquiries, more money in the bank. All right, so it's only for the next 20 people who enroll in Cake Business School. If you're not sure what Cake Business School, it is an online training platform with training modules in the vault ready for you to access straight away, the 17 modules, and it's all about growing a cake business. It can be a sweet business, it can be a baking business, it can be a food blog, but it's all about making money with food. All right, so how much does it cost? It is only actually at $1 to enroll in Cake Business School. That's for the first month. It's like a trial period, so you can jump in, access the training modules straight away, start implementing, start making changes in your business to get results. It's $9 per month thereafter that. You can cancel anytime. It is in Australian dollars because I'm in Australia, but it's very much an international cake school. What else? Cancel anytime. It's 100% money back guarantee as well, being that if you're not loving it, if you cancel within the first 2 weeks, you can get your buck back. You can get your $1 back. That's not a problem. So there is a bonus for people who enroll in the next 24 hours, the first 20 people only. So that might be within 20 minutes, those 20 spots are gone. But I will review your website for free to help you get more traffic, more inquiries, more orders, more money in the bank. And that's valued at $50 too, heads up. All right, so we'd love to have you in Cake Business School, and there will be an enroll button, how to enroll in Cake Business School below. Like I said, it literally costs $1. There is no fine print, okay? If you've got any questions, feel free to let me know. So I'm Rebecca@angelfoods.net. I'll pop my email below as well. But we'd love to have you in there.